Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final day of Knights Arena Valorant Challengers in North America. The first split is just about concluded. We've gone through 5 weeks of competition. Well, really 4 technically. We're about to finish the 5th week today as we've got 2 more matches. And they still have heavy implications on the standings and the mid-season face-off, which is what you like to see. If you guys have been watching at home, though, throughout the split, we've been talking about the fan zone. You guys can find more about that by going over to pks.gg/fanzone. You can get your questions asked to the players in the post-match interview on air, among many other things. Go ahead and check it out. But before I spend too much time wasting my energy talking about these games that we've got coming up today and the games we've already seen, why don't we go ahead and pull in our casters for the day. It's the young duo of Sully and Upmind. Upmind's hair definitely looking a little more full now than it was during the pre-show checks.
Yeah, no, it was down to just about here. I didn't get a haircut, though. The only thing that will get a cut, though, is our groups. We are going to be cut down to 8 teams in comparison to the possible 10 going into today. And, I mean, our first game pretty much decides all of it, I think.
We can go ahead and take a look at the standings, just so you guys can see how things have ended up where we are. Because, again, we talked about this coming into this week. It's rare you get to the final week in a group stage that's round-robin play, and you see so many teams on the bubble. And you can see that now. It's gotten a little bit less confusing, but Sully, this is still kind of confusing. There's a lot that could happen today.
Yeah, there's so much at play here because yesterday's matchup between FaZe and Moist kind of like shifted everything. It first of all destroyed Shopify's chances of making it into the MSF, and then it also puts a little bit more pressure on Turtle Troops in their matchup coming up today. So, I mean, yesterday kind of decided everything. It shook things up a little bit, and going into MSF, you're looking at these teams, and you're like, dang, a lot of the teams that we wanted to see are going to be unfortunately missing out.
We can go ahead and take a look at our schedule as well. The last 2 matches, just two more here, as 4 more teams need to kind of figure out where they're going to end up landing. You've got Turtle Troop versus Oxygen. That one is a interesting one because the outcome could affect multiple teams for the mid-season face-off. The second game of G2 versus Shopify Rebellion. Shopify Rebellion is statistically eliminated from mid-season face-off, but there's still more up for grabs because there are points based on standings across the split. And the way it's going to work is the teams are basically going to be combined into one leaderboard. So Shopify has a chance to climb a few positions here with a win. There's a world where Shopify could end up finishing in a much better spot for their points, and that has massive implications as you look towards playoffs at the end of the second split as well, how that could shape things up. So even though Shopify can't technically make the face-off event, there's still things up for grabs, and G2 as well. G2 really needs to find a win to make sure they close out the group stages with strength here, Gus.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the specific gaps later, but for G2, the difference between winning and losing today is about 5 circuit points. And if y'all look at how many points you get for winning the mid-season face-off, that's 10 circuit points. Half of those circuit points for G2 will be taken up just with 1 win today against Shopify.
That's actually crazy. But let's look at that first match. Let's shift our focus over to Turtle Troop versus Oxygen. I think a lot of people are looking at this Turtle Troop team after that win over G2 last week. And obviously there is some liquid fruit puns being thrown around online over this Turtle Troop, but this team's looking really good the last few weeks.
No, yeah, for sure. I'm surprised the way Turtle Troops have kind of bounced back from an 0-2 record. They made 2 major changes. This is a team that hasn't been playing with a coach at all during Split 1, so huge props to the changes that they have made. Huge props to Take, who we're going to look at a little bit later. But yeah, Turtle Troops, I personally think they're one of the teams that are on the come up. I look at a lot of the teams that came to open qualifiers, a lot of them struggled in the opening weeks. The first 2 weeks, a lot of them struggled. And teams like Oxygen, teams like Turtle Troop, all bounced back and found some sort of success. And while Oxygen's already guaranteed a spot in MSF, Turtle Troop have put themselves in a position from an 0-2 record where they can make the mid-season face-off.
Now, we talk about the mid-season face-off, and we were talking it there at the top of the show. We did want to kind of just spell out the scenarios that could take place based on this matchup outside of just the mid-season face-off. Turtle Troop really wants to find a win. Oxygen really finds a win. If either team does, everything's fine. It's copacetic. Nothing's a problem. Here's how things shift, though, depending on the outcomes. And Gus, this is kind of what you were touching on with the points. Why don't you explain what this all means?
Yeah, I mean, the simple scenario for Turtle Troop today is win and you're in playoffs, lose and you're not. That is the only stakes going in for this team today. But for the entire circuit here, not only does a win for Turtle Troop put them in the mid-season face-off, but it also doubles their point percentage, or not their percentage, but their point total going into the end of the stage. Just again, if Turtle Troop, if they win today, not only do they get a chance to extend their point total more through playoffs and through the fact that they can get top 4, but the entire season depends on just this one game. And of course, you look over towards Oxygen too. Yes, they have a playoff spot, but no, that does not mean that they're clear in terms of points. They can drop, because of the combined leaderboard, they can drop from about a combined 6th to 5th place. They could drop all the way down to 8th to 9th place. So again, everything is still in stake here when it comes to the end of the circuit.
And for those that are wondering, too, what Gus is talking about, Oxygen has a 2-2 record currently. If they were to lose today, they go to a 2-3. They would tie with FaZe Clan, and they currently have the head-to-head win over FaZe Clan due to the win in the group stages. So that does guarantee them placement into the mid-season face-off. I mean, just looking at the way that Turtle Troop played last week, though, this team is just seriously performing on a much higher level than we anticipated coming into the split.
No, it's a team that, in my opinion, we saw them in the first 2 weeks. They looked a little bit nervous, right? I mean, this is a team that I think had a really good run of young qualifiers. Honestly, a super solid team, to be honest, and our really good. Then those first 2 weeks, things kind of got shook up quite a bit. Okay, honest, and our performance, as we expected, they made some changes, some roster shuffles happened as well, some roster movements happened as well. It also caused some disruption in the roster, but overall, I think the introduction of Tig and the old veteran Mame has restabilized this team. And one of the big things that when we were watching last week is Tig has been crazy. What he's brought to this roster, and statistically, and also I just think fundamentally, he's not only reset this team, I think from a structure standpoint, he's kind of filling in that coach role. He's filling in a lot of roles that were missing for Turtle Troop when they came into Split 1.
And that was the biggest thing that we even saw going into that big mix-up in their rosters. They needed to address the fact that a lot of their players, they were filling in positions when they are just better off in their one position, when they're better off in their one role, such as Governor. Governor was playing a lot with the secondary duelist role, and now he can only dedicate himself now to the secondary duelist role. He doesn't have to focus up on picking up the Breach or picking up the Sage. Now Mame has addressed that one position now. But when you talk about Tig, and once again, that leadership position, Governor was the one IGLing before, and IGLing as a duelist, that's just way too much to try to deal with. So not only, again, has Tig organized this team from an IGL perspective, but now has allowed a lot of these players to be able to flourish, and you see that in Governor's stats throughout the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can just take a look at it here. Governor before Tig and after Tig. And that is an insane jump, 0.6 on the KD. All the other numbers moving up as well, respectively.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous when you kind of look at these statistics and you say Governor was IGL, and you can see how much of an impact I think Tig has had on this team and on Governor as an individual. You look at last week and their matchup against Moist. This is a Governor that is fully unleashed. He doesn't have to worry about calling. He doesn't have to worry about really staying alive and restructuring his team. It's, hey, go in, do your thing, get those entry kills, which he has been incredibly successful in the past. And not only that, he's just a guy that I feel is playing with a lot more confidence, and that's what you want from Governor. He's untapped potential, and now that you've got the invincible calling structure of Tig, someone that is experienced, Governor is free to do as he's pleasing, as he wants, and he's doing exactly that now.
And you can see like the one stat dip is first kills, first deaths, but there's a certain amount of that is to be expected, because if now a player's playing a little bit more unhinged, there's going to be high risk, high reward scenarios taking place that you didn't see in the previous weeks. That's why there is a drop in that number. But everything else is up. You got your ACS up, you've got your ADR up, you've got your KD way up, which is exactly what they want to see from someone who's supposed to be in that star position. But let's take a look at the other team. Oxygen is also a team that comes in that I think a lot of people slept on, myself included. I looked at this team and I just thought, I just don't feel like this team is really going to find the success they need, because I was expecting the team who's playing later today, Shopify Rebellion, to have a little bit more of a stable group stage. I thought that Moist Moguls, even when they came through as breakthrough, I thought they would have a little bit more stable, and same with FaZe. Now they're in a position where they're already qualified and they're just basically playing up for those split points. The team has looked better as every week has progressed.
Yeah, I won't lie, I feel like this team essentially dodged the bullet being with the result of the FaZe and Moist Moguls game, because this is a Turtle Troop that is on fire, and Oxygen have been iffy in my opinion, right? They'll win one series, they'll lose the next series, and they'll win again. It's a team that's bouncing back, and given last week how they won their last series, against FaZe Clan, it's okay, is the pattern going to continue where they lose here to Turtle Troop? And I think, again, dodge the big bullet. They've already made the MSF. Again, it's all about placement points here for them.
Yeah, at this point, Oxygen, they can just focus up on playoffs. They can focus up on the next split. And this game, the only thing on the line is the circuit points. So realistically speaking, Oxygen coming into this week, their map pool is really small. They've only played a possible 3 maps out of the 7 maps that we have right now in our map pool. And in the last 2 weeks, they played the exact 2 same maps. We do have a comparison here for Scuba in terms of his impact, but that's really when Oxygen actually needs Scuba. This week, it really is about just it's about keeping your deck close to your chest, I think, Bach.
Your deck close to your chest. I don't think I've ever kept a deck of cards.
All 54 cards, right?
I don't think I've ever really put them like on my chest, but that's one scenario or strategy that might play out well. I'm going to try that the next time I have a poker night with the boys. Looking too at the 2 of the younger players on these rosters, we've got Governor and we've got Pony. These are 2 players that I think we can look at as a direct comparison to a certain degree coming into today, and 2 players we should be keeping our eyes on because we already mentioned it. Governor's stats are up since the introduction of TIG.
Yeah, we're looking at both of these player stats from the last 2 weeks, ever since that Governor has had TIG come on board. And so one thing for Turtle Troop is, well, last 2 weeks he's played a lot more consistent, right? He's kept his numbers up. He's looked a lot better. One of the guys, and the reason why we put them in his head-to-head is Oxygen have had this weird flux of players, and the reason why we brought that Scuba lineup earlier is because Scuba has been kind of the key player for this roster in the sense that he always is the catalyst for this team. And Pony's a guy that, you know, when he's online, he can also be a really, really big hitter, but lately it's kind of been iffy with him.
Yeah, I mean, mainly it has come down to some of those defensive mistakes from Pony because he just keeps picking up the op and he keeps getting confident. And why not? The guy keeps heating up in terms of that KDA, but I think really the discrepancy here in terms of the stats is just the fact that we actually saw Pony and this team lose 2 weeks ago against G2. And what a game that was, by the way, against G2. That was so close to being a win. There was a 4v1 that had to happen for that game to even be possible for G2. So again, realistically speaking, we're still looking at an Oxygen that have players that line up toe-to-toe against Turtle Troop.
Pony also definitely kind of filling in the roles that they need, but at times has played interesting ones. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Pony play Yoru at one point during the group stages?
Randomly on Breeze.
Yeah, there has been some interesting choices and decision-making process from this team, but let's take a look at the map pool to see where we're going to be heading in Turtle Troop versus Oxygen. You're going to be going to Lotus first, which, I mean, we've been seeing a little bit more of that in the last few weeks. Ever since it was introduced, obviously, we weren't going to see it start the group stages, but I'd say like week 3, once it was brought into the fold, very few teams wanted to play it. Week 4 is like one team, and I think this week we've seen it a lot more, but we'll be ending on Split. We'll be going to Ascent in the middle. Should we need Split, we'll technically get the 2 new maps in the rotation, quote unquote new, as Split is the refresh, but Ascent is familiar territory for a lot of these teams, Sully.
Yeah, I think I'm mainly looking at Lotus as kind of the weird pick because neither of the teams have played it, but one thing that we did learn last week in the G2 win is that Tig spoke a little bit about why they're so confident in why they've been 2-0ing teams is because Tig personally believes that, they've got a really strong map pool, and that's why they're capable of banning the other team's better map. And I think Haven was definitely a better map for Oxygen. We saw them beat G2 on it. They looked really good on it, in my opinion. And so, or apologies, not G2 on it. I think it was FaZe Clan on it. So Turtle Troop have got a really vast map pool, and I think now we're starting to see with the onboarding of Tig and Mummy, what Tig has been cooking up for this team. It's very apparent, though, at times that Turtle Troop haven't fully fleshed out their system just yet. They're recycling strats that we saw when Tig was on the Nation, and we're also just seeing strats being reused over and over in games. So we're starting to see the full capabilities of Turtle Troop, and that's why I'm interested to see this Lotus pick, just because neither team has played it, and Tig is really confident in his team's map pool in general, so I'm curious to see what they've got cooked up for us.
Turtle Troop banning Haven as it's very much those bans are very defensive. You've got Turtle Troop banning that because they probably don't want to play Oxygen. They've had pretty good success on the map. And Fracture is a guaranteed smart ban coming in as that has been a really good map for Turtle Troop all throughout this first split. So that's why we end up on the maps we end up on. But yeah, you mentioned it. I'm looking at that first map and I'm just going to put a question mark here on my tablet for my notes with Lotus because I don't know what's going to happen. It should be an interesting series because, again, we haven't seen these teams play on Lotus. And in the past, that's been like, okay, that means they're either really good on it and they've been shopping that for a while, or they're terrible on it and they do something that's totally absurd that we've never seen before because the meta has not really developed yet. But it is time for the agent select, which means it's my time to say goodbye. We'll see what these teams bring to the table for Lotus. Take it away.
Ooh, it is going to be a spicy one. We know the stakes here already. Turtle Troop.
You hear that?
When you
I
make
don't.
it to the mid-season face-up,
That's the
Oxygen,
plot
you've already locked in
thickening,
your
folks.
spot
No,
where you're
Sully
looking
was
for
supposed to do the
circuit points and
transition, but the
dust.
guy actually
This is our
disconnected
second
right as
time
we got
casting
in.
Lotus.
But we're here. What's up? Oh, okay.
It's gonna. I think
Sullivan
we had a
might
little
be
bit of
here.
mishap. Might have been a little mishap, but Oxygen, it's a little bit dicey for them. I think Lotus is a weird map for them, and I don't know if Gus can hear me, but we'll see here in a second.
No, I do now. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? We good?
Yeah, no, it should be. Again, we're heading into Lotus, completely new picks. So at this point, we're just focusing up on which players are picking up which positions, which player is picking up which role. And it looks like Oxygen and TTR both not opting to go for any sort of double duelist, really just going for more comfort picks.
Yeah, this is a crazy pick from Turtle Troop, I'm not going to lie. The Harbor that I feel like we have seen a little bit more frequently.
On this map for sure.
Yeah, comboed with the Viper it's a combination that we saw in a little bit during the lock-in show match, I'm pretty sure is what it was. But teams have also just been typically picking up Harbor a little bit more. The Cove is really, really powerful. One of the stats that we saw in lock-in was how impactful he can be with these plants. And I think this map in particular, his wall and his Cove could be super, super big for getting map control.
Folks, Turtle Troop, it's win or go home. They win this one, they make it into playoffs. Oxygen are already through. They're trying to deny Turtle Troop a chance here. It's all going to be Oxygen on the C side to start things off, and Turtle Troop could have two very fast rotators, but this play in C is so fast, you're already going to have the KJ on the front line needing to battle Adder with a kill, but it had to get traded back immediately.
Yeah, instantly Tig kind of just pulls away. He's going to reset with his team. They still have decent map control here for this retake. Players approaching from this offensive side and also towards Waterfall.
It's not slow whatsoever. With the wall up, they already have so much control. The players from ramp are needing to swing out of water. This is such a good spot here already for Oxygen, or excuse me, for Turtle Troop. And now in a 1v4, Randy Savage picks up 2, but it's done for from the top rope.
Yeah, I think this was a really good response from Tig as making the call saying, hey, I'm just going to back away out of your composition. My guiding lights aren't going to be the biggest support to you. So he just backs away. And ultimately, Turtle Troop were able to get the retake, I think because of the position that they had. Tig falls to Waterfall, players quickly approach towards defender spawn, and Oxygen really had no time to set up there. Turtle Troop off to a nice start. Again, this is a map that we haven't seen from either of these teams. It's the map pick of Turtle Troop, and this is a new look for them. So we're wondering, how fresh are they? What have they cooked up for us?
I mean, a lot of the questions for TTR have mostly been role-based.
Right.
And all of them have been pretty much completely answered. Or let's just want to see if TTR are going to be as creative as they more or less have been under Tig. Early on, no big pushes.
The beauty of it is that Turtle Troop have simplified their game a lot, and that's why we're kind of seeing just, especially in this round, working a crucial part of this map. And I think that's something that Tig brings to this team again, like just simplifying the game a little bit. Because when we were watching Turtle Troop and Governor was calling the pressure on him, a lot of careless mistakes out of Governor in those first 2 weeks. And now that they have a much more simplified structure, it's okay. Governor is a lot more free to do as he pleases, but also the simplified structure just releases a lot of pressure on his shoulders in the sense that he actually has a good support team, in the sense that he's getting the flashes that he needs. He's getting smoke set up in position to where he can get control. And Turtle Troop aren't trying to overcomplicate things by doing these crazy flashy setups for Governor now.
Right. It's realistically just about making him think about less factors, worry about less.
There it is.
Here goes Governor, though. His only goal there. Snipe away the man in the corner, and that's all that he did. Went around the corner, able to get one, but now here comes the rest of the take. 2 players coming up from heaven, but the pistols, they're trading back. Pony with a double kill, and now it's Mame. Does pull up a smoke right in front of him, and that's a big one too. Verno only has a classic, and he can't spam. It's gonna be the defuse for TTR.
It's quite a bit of damage though, from Oxygen on
So
Turtle
much.
Troop. And losing 4 players, losing a Bulldog in the mix as well. This is, I don't think, gonna be a reinvestment round from Turtle Troop. Governor actually picking up the operator here in the 3rd round, and then we're gonna see the full buy muster around the rest of his team. But it's not the buy that you want. Tig is working with 1 guiding light, no Trailblazer, and Adder as well, not going to have a full kit. So that round from Oxygen has a lot of implications moving forward. And they're approaching this A site where it's
Wow.
only redid.
Look at
Not a
this
lot of
util.
util and not instantly a reaction from Adder to try and support.
Okay, so it's not terrible. They have a lot of coverage, actually, over towards the C and B area. But over towards A, it is relatively flimsy. Only one person here. It did
They're
get a
getting
rotation back
aggressive.
from Adder. This is what they wanted. The double push out of Mount. Tig's on the front side. Mummy's the one making all of the noise. Randy might peek into Tig. And indeed he does, but he's alive.
That's a nice fault line as a response, though, to get Randy Savage out of dodge. It's what you need if you're Turtle Troop. It's you have these lesser guns. You need someone like Tig, someone that's competent and capable to try and pull something out like that. Governor, a chance but a missed shot. Weeded's not going to miss his, though. And that does give a huge advantage here to Turtle Troop.
It's going to be all we did for now, but Oxygen, they're still contemplating the take.
They're splitting back into the B site where there's still a nanostorm for a plant. And Mummy's already here. Same thing with Adder. So you already have 2 players arrive to the scene.
And the
I think
Viper
Turtle
Wall.
Troop, very similar to that pistol round, are just going to wait. Get really good map control for this retake, and that's when you start to pounce.
So many layers here for the defense of TTR. Oxygen have to fight so much through the dark just to try to get the back of sight, and indeed they do. It's Mitch in the middle of Link, taking down Munmei. Does find Weeded. The TP is through. They are going to have C.
Weeded just looking to glance Scuba. Brings him down to 20 HP. Same thing with Governor. And Mitch with his kill.
No
He's gonna
way!
Get onto the ultimate, but Weeded through the wall is going to catch Mitch.
So much HP on Mitch. Now it's only 20 on Scuba. It has to be a miracle. Has to go all headshots here for Scuba. Lines up the first, but not a kill. Knows where both are.
Oh,
Gets the
Scuba.
headshot onto We Did. Now needs to play whack-a-mole. Governor looking to swing. Could play in the dark. But Governor closes down the space instead, and TTR continue their win streak.
On that low HP as well. That's what makes it so hard there for Scuba. Turtle Troop, off of losing 4 players in their second round after winning the pistol, they are able to recover this round. And with a lot lesser guns as well. There were 2 Guardians in the mix here. And I think the aggression called from Tig is what ultimately wins in this round. It forces this Oxygen side over towards A and makes it a whole lot more uncomfortable. But Oxygen elect to call a timeout, and I think for good reason. Yes, they've won these 3 rounds, Gus, but they've all been through defuses. And so now the question is, how do we prevent the spike from going down? Because that's the issue. You're not guaranteed a retake win every single time.
I think the toughest part is, too, Oxygen, they're focusing a lot more on trying to cut down on the rotators. I mean, you already saw that attention back in the B link, back over in Heaven, especially with the Viper Wall in front of them. They needed to take that backspace. Now going forward again. On this attack side, we don't really have too many opportunities at long-winded battles. They only have 2 smokes to deal with the Omen. You only have a double satchel. A lot of the take potential for this team is definitely in the early rounds. But with Randy Savage actually loading up a lockdown, they do have some decent-ish cash. They can absolutely go for an ult orb here and just try to go for the ult.
Yeah, they have the Rolling Thunder here to work with as well. I mean, I think everyone kind of understands that hitting B and C is really simple with a Rolling Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
Even a lockdown in the mix as well, but they're going to go here towards the A side where I believe it is easier to get control. It is easier to get that ult orb as well if that's what they're looking for Randy Savage. They do exactly that. Establishing this early control. Governor's going to go updraft to try and find something. And Mummy's been given the op over towards C, so his control, the alarm bot towards B, is allowing this 4-player stack to start to swing over towards this A side. And yes, Oxygen have taken good map control, but I think Turtle Troop are playing for the retake. They have the Reckoning from Mummy to try and get back into the site, and yeah, just wanted to avoid this Rolling Thunder as well.
Yeah, not a single person getting hit, and Governor, another opportunity to play some whack-a-mole. A couple of heads might pop out, but he realizes the danger coming in from drop, but Pony is just sharper. What a kill going on to Governor. But there goes the retake. Ultimate coming in from the harbor. So many stuns now. Mitch has to be mobile. Same thing with Pony. And the flashes, the stuns. It's actually good in holding back the ultimate. It delays enough time. Oxygen now with a 2-man advantage. This is looking so good for them now. Verno delaying more time. 3 players in the back of sight. TTR have dwindled.
The positioning here from Oxygen, which is so good. You're using that fault line to first create space, players are positioned in a lot of different angles where the Reckoning is going to stun players, but it's ultimately up to you to clear all these angles out. Not everyone's getting hit by that Reckoning, so well positioned there for Oxygen in that post plant. Reeded should be good for some exits. No, nothing.
Ooh.
So no damage done
That's
here
huge.
as the spike goes off, and Oxygen, they walk away with a calm 4 rifles to set themselves up, and Turtle Troop, that's their first loss. They've got no credits here for a full buy. They're mustering something.
Yeah, no, that's probably the weirdest
Light
part of
armor.
this. The last round,
Yeah.
they didn't even think whatsoever about their economy, but now they're forced to.
Stinger in the mix here, not a full kit for Weeded, not a full kit for Governor, not a full kit for Tig. Matter, who are the ones that stayed alive. Apologies. Adder does have it, but Tig doesn't, so they are strapped for cash, and Oxygen making things a lot slower. I'm not sure if it's they're expecting an eco round or they're expecting Tig to kind of do what he did in that second round, where when they have the lesser buy, Tig was trying to be explosive and create the advantage with just his solo Phantom. Nothing is here this time around for Turtle Troop, and Oxygen felt that C pressure, so they've redirected themselves back towards A with the opportunity to go towards B.
Yeah, this is the fastest shift that we have seen from Oxygen, though. Within the first 5 seconds, putting up sound over towards C long, and immediately taking up A control.
This is going to end towards B here. Adder's starting to creep, or Randy Savage, apologies, starting to creep up, and with that drone, that's where Turtle Troop starts to bring these 3 players in after hearing that drone go off.
Isolates one angle, but there's going to be 3 around this site already for Turtle Troop. They need so much more to be able to cover. We did with a couple of sprays in, but again, 2 players in the back line here for TTR looking to swing, and there goes Pony, already cutting down one of them. That's huge for Oxygen as they get the plant down now with full control.
And everyone on Oxygen has begun to back away from this post plant.
Wow.
Have the aftershock still, but Pony's in the mix. Verno not
Showstopper
too
too.
far. They're just trying to keep the pressure off them. They have contingencies already.
I mean, they don't need it. Pony in the middle of this site is being a human turret. Head on a swivel, taking out anyone that crosses into sight. And now it's just all on the Mummy. Nanoswarm in his face. 3 players from different directions. It's
Wow.
gonna be a big, overwhelming round for Oxygen.
A great post plan from Oxygen. Another successful B hit. And I think it's due, in fact, that they're keeping strong players like Pony, like Verno, into the middle of sight, where you have players like Randy Savage, players like Mitch, who have already backed away to play for their util, right? Mitch had his Aftershock, Randy Savage had his Nanostorm, so Oxygen are playing a fine game of these post plans. And that's what the timeout was for Turtle Troop to try and figure out, hey, they're getting the spike down, and that's the 5th time they've got it down now. We haven't been able to stop a plant. We need to figure out what the answer is, because eventually the odds never favor a defending team on the retake. And so how do you respond back? This time, this Just Pistols are going to try and work an aggressive look to work now.
I think situationally, TTR have been playing up to that type of situation. And hold up, 4 kills going by the way of Oxygen. More importantly, finally the ulti. After 2 rounds of being 1 ult point away, Randy Savage finally gets the lockdown. But again, going back to a TTR, almost every time we've seen Oxygen go for a take, they've been playing retake. They've been playing right into the hands of TTR for as long as they know. They actually need to execute, especially with how much potential they have in the middle of B site. They have that Viper wall. They have the KJ util.
Potential with everything here now. 4 ultimates. And they're looking to use this lockdown, and I think a post-plant combo with Verno and Randy Savage, leading with Pony, last packing into sight. So we could see a triple ult combo here in a second, maybe even Scuba if he wants to use the quad and teleport him to the back of sight. But TTR, how ready are they for this? And yeah, that's a beautiful guy, and I like to give them the info that, yeah, that's where the pressure is. Granted, I think the only issue here is there's no control towards A, and it's a gamble from Turtle Troop. But I think they've got the read right now. Lockdown will force them out of sight and give Oxygen this space.
And it's very patient too. Not a single person that is actually trying to cross over. They are forced to go with the Molly. But a Hunter's Fury, wow!
Forcing the back
Getting
out of
pulled
defender's
off
arm.
right as the lockdown goes down, trying to go for the more predictable positions, but not a single person gets hit. There goes the post plant util taken away, and Pony now is hunting with the showstopper. Nobody is here in Link for now. He has to go a lot deeper to find the 2 over towards B. 3 players in the back of C now, and Pony might have the wrap.
No one checks in Pony. Nobody had any idea. You should have known, but you don't clear. 4-on-4 now, and a lockdown for Adder.
No, the lockdown is actually going in, but they can just fight until the very end. The time won't be enough, surely. 7 seconds left. They're not going for the defuse. Mitch is just holding on. Mitch! What a spray for Mitch! No, Weeded just has to go with the lockdown, has to try to defuse, has to stick until the end, and it just won't happen.
That is an outrageous double spray down from Mitch. He sticks around in the lockdown, risks his life, knowing the circumstances, to try and keep them off the spike and to give his team a fighting chance. And this was just such a good round from Oxygen, utilizing the ultimates to take space. The lockdown to clear out sight, the Hunter Sphere to push them back out of defender spawn, Pony to follow up and try and capitalize on that Hunter Sphere with a showstopper forcing them out of Waterfall. And Turtle Troop, yes, it's your map pick, but that is 6 plants out of the last 7 rounds. And there has been no answer on these retakes. Turtle Troop have not been able to deny the plant at all, even when they won those 3 rounds.
That showstopper clear of connector, I mean, that forced TTR to waste so much time, so much space, trying to take back
and they
one pivotal spot to split into C.
Pony. They literally knew Pony had pushed him with a showstopper, and he still gets away with one, and then it didn't go into the second. Oxygen are playing a phenomenal game. The guy like doesn't get anything, so that's just even worse here for Turtle Troop.
But they're not compensating for it. There goes the molly, and we didn't know that there was a gap. Mitch just goes through completely dry, and Tig in the middle of smoke too, has a frenzy looking for one back, but it just won't happen. Oxygen, we've already seen them now go from 3-0 down up to 3-4 up. You can see that reflected in their economy. It's going to be basically flawless, basically maxed out.
Sleep, brother.
This is a farm here for Oxygen, trying to get Verno onto his ultimate again, see if he can get Randy Savage as well. They're working with a lot of ultimates as we head into the later parts of this first half. Verno should be able to get his online. We already have a Rolling Thunder for Mitch. Oxygen on this offensive side. And Turtle Troop, we're seeing inklings of, I feel like, the right idea. And I think what we saw last week on Lotus, not from Turtle Troop, but what we've seen traditionally on Lotus is this defending team needs to be willing to get aggressive and taking either mound or a lobby control. But I mean, Turtle Troop are doing that very sparingly, it feels like, and I think that's what they're missing here, is they're giving Oxygen a lot of time to think and react and take map control for themselves and kind of just put them in an uncomfortable spot. Finally, they're doing a little bit more of that. Granted, once this wall goes down, the turret's going to reassume control of C, and that's going to be the issue here for Turtle Troop.
I think that sort of mentality, though, of taking back space does add more opportunity for mistakes.
This is going to be rough here because you're stacked 2 players on the B site, and in the middle of B site, by the way.
It's an instant high-low.
And there's
that
a
site
rolling
taken,
thunder,
just swinging.
Ready to push both these players off, possibly in a fake attempt as well. I mean, the C door is easily pivotable to try and rotate out.
Scuba's gonna go down. Wow, Scuba actually gets a kill for that.
That's crazy, he sticks that.
And with that distraction, that's C.
It's a full fake as well here. Mitch, that solo rolling thunder, they don't even realize. Mitch is just trying to buy time.
Oh my God.
For anything. I don't know if that was the best of fakes because it puts the remaining 2 players in a 2-on-4, but it's Randy Savage and Verno. Randy with the post-plant util and Verno with the capabilities to go hunting.
All 4 are coming from Link. You can see them setting up for the back of sight. They're not going to run into anyone, but this is 1-by-1. Verno! Verno! Finding 2 individuals, but Governor ends up singling out Randy Savage. And the last one. Good stuff from Governor again, making his impact known.
It's just such a crazy, risky play from Oxygen this time around. Granted, he gets a plant down, which is the one thing Turtle Troop have been trying to deny. But Scuba sticking that teleport in the back, I felt was a really big sacrifice because it doesn't even sell the fake towards B or towards C. It kind of is just, it's in such a weird middle spot where Turtle Troop could gamble B or C off of that play, and ultimately I think Scuba giving his life up there wasn't really worth it because it gives a huge man advantage to Oxygen. Or apologies, Turtle Troop.
Early on, Turtle Troop. They're finally going to have some attention back over towards A main. With that util from the harbor, they're not going to do anything with it. They leave the site open. No util needed for Oxygen to clear out anymore. But they're not committing to it. Once again, it's yet another spread.
The Scuba's beating the wall, so Mame, who wanted to try and establish control, doesn't really get anything for his team. Scuba in a good spot to cut off this mid-door rotation. Drone spots a couple of players, and wow, Pony's just risking his life for the kill. Nearly gets it on the Governor. And he does finish him off.
Huge nade, but again, over towards A. You've always had Scuba here.
And his map control is what's going to set them up here for an A hit.
They don't need to use any util to make their way out because of Scuba now. Now Scuba, alongside the rest of the team, still need to clear out this KJ util. You still have Tig ready to go. Has Seekers to immediately pop. Could take away one.
But it's a lot of one-on-one fights here. Yeah, that alarm bot's going to queue probably Tig to pop these Seekers and break this door down, but I don't think he wants to take that fight. And yeah, he instantly backs away. Not worth it, but Adder, he's holding his ground alone.
It's a low HP. They just wanted to get rid of Pony. Just one hit and he's gone. Here comes Tig. Tig around the corner, going to be able to take down Randy Savage. And you still have Burno all the way out in the open. Mame's right behind them for the trade. 2 players left for Oxygen. They haven't planted yet. They're wrapping all the way back to B instead. Mame's going to be right here in the mosh pit, ready to take him on. 6 seconds left, and Mame takes down their shotgunning Mitch. Tied scoreline.
It's the first time Toronto Troop have denied a spike plant, and they've won the round. They've only kept the spike from going down 2 rounds, and one of those Oxygen just pull out and blasted them in an anti-eco. I like this round a lot more. The play was there with the ultimates. Good combination as well. Mummy in a position to drop his Reckoning over towards A mid, where they kind of expected that hit to come through. 2 rounds left to play for, and Turtle Troop, they've reestablished some control after 5 rounds in a row from Oxygen. And this time Oxygen have set their sights on a little bit more of an aggressive take.
Yeah, for sure, but the spike is all the way over towards C right now, maybe looking for a contact.
I think that might have been a fake blast pack from Pony to put even more pressure towards A. I don't know exactly if that's what he meant to do, or maybe it was a misclick, but
I mean,
he
looks
meant
like
to try and fake blast pack control, then Oxygen have, yeah, they've expended more util to try and establish control here towards B, assuming that they've fully lost A off of that blast pack fake.
Okay, they are reestablishing mid B, though, and are reestablishing a better connection back over towards C.
Yeah, and look at this. They've rotated towards A as well. They realize that lack of control.
There you go.
What a great guiding light. Very well timed.
It's going to be 2 here for Turtle Troop. We did. Has a Viper's Pit, but not going to use it. And instead goes down to the front lines. Governor trying to take one back with the knives. Indeed does. Yet another updraft. This is what Governor does best. Picking away one by one. You give him an inch, he gets a mile.
How does he get 3? And somehow,
Scuba.
some way, Oxygen are starting to crumble, but Verno,
Wait!
that's outrageous. This is unreal. Scuba
Scuba!
on this late 8 flank is going to get a dime, a dollar, and a dozen. 6 to 5 Oxygen. How do they recover that?
Last round in the half.
2v4. It seemed too good. Weeded goes down. But TTR, they have Governor going off as he's done in the last few weeks. 2nd highest ultimate kills in VCL right now. And it's all off of the Blade Storm. He gets 3, and that still wasn't enough.
Dude, this was such a chaotic round because Oxygen had, if that was a fake blast pack, that's ingenious in my opinion. It pulled all the rotates towards an extremely well-timed guiding light from Tig. Re-rotated players and queued the hit from Oxygen, who had, first of all, a really good entry into sight, but Governor, with a massive triple Blade Storm, gives the 4v2 advantage, and then Oxygen, I don't know where the magic comes from between Verno and Scuba, but for Oxygen, all 3 players that we wanted to perform, Verno, Pony, and Scuba, the 3 main hitters, it's not an alternation of who's going to pop off today, it's all 3 of them are playing exceptionally well here in map 1.
Gosh, and on a side, of course, where you don't really expect the agent to have a lot of impact, Randy Savage is still very much with the rest of the team. And I only say this, by the way, because we've seen definitely a lack of stability, a lack of an even stat line between what is the core of Verno, Pony, and Scuba, and then bottom Mitch and Randy Savage. But again, if those 2 are going at the same level as the other 3, I mean, Oxygen, they pretty much have the potential that they were almost reaching when they were facing G2. I mean, They took them to the brink. They had to give up a 1v4 to lose that game.
And Oxygen have You know, I feel like between both of these two teams, Oxygen have been consistently performing better. And I'm happy to see, I mean, again, I don't want to jinx them and say they're finally hitting their stride going into the mid-season face-off, but they are. They beat FaZe Clan in a pretty dominant fashion, and I'm excited to see with these two unsigned teams. Again, it's not confirmed if Turtle Troop are going to make it into MSF. They have to win this game, but in this group alone, we're seeing a lot of these unsigned, or apologies, not unsigned teams, open qualifier teams that are hitting their stride and really finding form, and it's exciting to see a team that went 0-2 Turtle Troop play as well as they did last week, and a team like Oxygen who, first of all, threw two 9-3 halves in their first week of matches, and they're coming to form, beating FaZe Clan, and now it's about maintaining that form heading forward.
Yeah, it always seems like Oxygen have been so close to staying in that top 2 range in such a tight group, but now finally they are pretty much taking what's been theirs throughout this tournament. Again, Oxygen, we've seen them mostly throughout the bottom 3 in this tournament, and they might be heading into top 2 by the end of today. Folks, by the way, we are having some technical issues, and it seems like it might last a little longer than what we would like. So we're actually going to go into a quick break. We'll be right back, though, with a continuation of TTR in Oxygen.
Well, that was quick. That was so quick. You know, we went
I
to
needed
a break.
the break.
Yeah, you know, a good 10-second break, 10-second reset as we head into the last round of this half. And as we were saying, Oxygen, all these players have been performing. Turtle Troop, one more round to go to try and tie it up. And the contingency here is Weeded's popping the ultimate.
Finally.
Leaving it's interesting because Tig has got the shotgun. Governor swings early to try and get control, and I thought they were going to leave Tig in this Viper's Pit, but he actually backs away despite having the shotgun.
I think after, again, not a lot of pressure actually early into the Viper's Pit, just leaves to try to support. Hey! Oh, Pony! Adder tries to run away. He says, get back over here. Big kill off the showstopper. The retake potential is cut.
Oh, that was insane. And now Verno's backed all the way up to play with his util, to play with his Hunter's Fury. And everyone on Oxygen, we've seen exactly how good they are in these post plants. Oh, he's gonna reload and take down Tig. Just not ready for that. Retake is on, but Turtle Troop are far behind.
And Governor tried to even pop on the half wall too, but Verno still takes him down with a Hunter's Fury. Pony with the grenade right through the wall. The cascade for Mame, not allowing the red carpet that he wanted. A 1v4 now for Weeded that gets cut immediately by Scuba. Oxygen, a good attack half as they go into second half with a lead.
Yeah, I think despite how close this has been, or how, as close as it looks, this has been Oxygen kind of running the show. 5 rounds in a row, 3 successful plants, or not successful plants, but getting the spike down 3 rounds in a row, even when Turtle Troop were winning. There was no response for Turtle Troop up until the tail end of this round, or tail end of this half, and even then, Oxygen's again, like they've been manipulating this map from round 1.
Yeah, Oxygen, again, continuously just getting to the objective, getting to the plants. And again, Turtle Troop, even when they were winning, didn't look all too great. They had to do it in retake fashion.
Okay, I'm back.
But now, of course, getting back into the second half, we get to see now TTR for their first time. See how they act in terms of aggression. See how Oxygen opts to take back positioning on the defensive side, and you already see it. Quadruple swing out of A main.
Governor's fast here, but Oxygen are quicker. They've already full pushed over towards A. That will be side control here over towards C. The turret, I think the key thing is here is make sure Adder's at least in range. I don't know if he is right now. He is for sure now, and that's going to catch the flank. And 2 players already pivoted back.
Maybe. Well, it won't. It won't. It's not even turned behind. It was turned for the mid swing, and there goes Pony, gonna be able to take down one. The battle for Mound is heavy, and for TTR, it's collapsible. Oxygen in one fell swoop, 4 players out of Mound. All 5 players are gone in the span of 10 seconds.
And that's a hard fight to fight if you're a Turtle Troop. The way that this Mound is set up, that if you don't swing from the same side, well, again, against 4 players of Oxygen flanking, you're going to be giving up 1v2s on either side of the mound. If you swing together, then you risk posing a flank from the other side of the mound. So it's just a tricky fight for Turtle Troop in general to play that flank, but Oxygen just really quick. And, I mean, you can see how fast they are here. No one on Turtle Troop was expecting this 4-man flank, and they walk away. No players going down, and Investor flawless, and Oxygen, they're going to respond with a buy here of 2 shotguns, a Phantom, and a Guardian in the mix. But this has been Oxygen that have been playing extremely well on a map that we haven't seen from either of these teams, and a map that is Turtle Troops, and a map that, well, if it goes this way, it's the first time ever that since Tig has joined, they'll lose a map in a series.
Here goes the push. It's a big, big buy for both teams. TTR, again, opting for the Stingers, opting for a full man push. No attention to any other side of the map right now.
They do slow it down just a second, but Pony got pretty good B control. And
Oh, good flash.
like those spots from Mitch, he gets a kill and he backs away. He was already ready to back away to play the retake, knowing they have the better guns, but it's one for his troubles, and now it puts Oxygen in a tricky spot where even that might finish him off.
Mitch has got it all down through the wall, taking down Mummy.
Spike planted.
I mean, Mitch, all knowing this entire team, just looks like they already have the situation already under control.
One enemy
Alt line as
remaining.
well to set up the players from defender spawn. This is Oxygen. This is an Oxygen that honestly I wasn't prepped to see. This was a red hot Turtle Troop, and in these first 2 rounds they've been outclassed here in the second half. Giving Oxygen the 9th, giving them the second round, giving them a bonus moving forward. Turtle Troop will have to take an eco. Given the new economy changes, well, not really the new economy changes, but the price increase for the Stinger, they're not going to be afforded the exact same buy where in the past you could get 2 back-to-back Stinger rounds. This time around, it's... Oh, gosh,
Whoa.
they actually are going for it. I think
Well, I mean-
Spikeman actually gives them just enough, my bad.
I mean, at the expense of a good gun buy after this.
Yeah, that's kind of what it... No, I don't think so.
It
I think
shouldn't
they'll
be
good
great.
with the full loss bonus. They'll have the rifles next moving forward. I think the spike plan is what I miscalculated. It actually gives them this full buy.
Yeah, that's true. Going in as now Oxygen, they do have a little bit more pressure this time over towards Mound, and Scuba on the front side with the Guardian, just needing to spray away. Any of these Stingers should be able to take him out, and indeed they do. Mitch around the corner, however, the only person remaining here on C, has the Phantom, has a little bit of utility to use. Mame down incredibly low. This could just be a farm for Mitch.
Looking for anything. Verno, a little bit late to the party. Also goes for a swing with his Phantom.
One enemy
Mame
remaining.
just on 12 HP.
One more
Nice
Rolling
shots from
Thunder.
Verno. Yeah, one more here. I think Mitch should be guaranteed to get it. Unless it was Randy Savage that finds his killer Pony to get the kill. But Oxygen
Is
taking
relatively
the fight
low.
again to Turtle Troop. Swinging into Mound. This time off of a fault line from Midge is what diffused up the swing from Scuba. And ultimately, Oxygen again holding down the line at 10-5. This has been an abysmal start here for Turtle Troop. An 0-3 start here in the second half. And now within 3 rounds of taking map number 1, Oxygen has steered clear of any troubles here so far in this first map of this series.
At least for now. Again, they win this round. They should have an incredibly comfortable rest of the map. This is realistically the last chance that we'll see for TTR to try to bring this one back in regulation.
They're going again. Aggressive here from Oxygen. A fault line here. A smoke. No, just the smoke and a dart to get the info, and a fault line to respond after with that guiding light. This establishes control here for Oxygen. And I think if you're a Turtle Troop, you don't want to swing past that smoke because anyone could be on the other side of that mountain where you can't see.
They are contemplating utility.
And this
Try
is
to retake it, but they are just holding it.
tricky setup here because Randy is kind of on an island. Verno's going to try and support here with his Hunter's Fury. That's really all he's got. I think Randy's main goal here is hold down this tree room. Hold down and lock it in place, but they're shifting back here towards the C site. There are 2 players here, a third if you want to consider Pony to be a threat. And still that Hunter's Fury as they want to try and enter site could get popped off here from Verno.
Wait. The dart not hitting. Oh, it does hit Tig barely. If they let that recon go, they immediately take with it. But actually, what is this contemplation here? The breach, Mitch is actually thinking about rotating back over towards B, but there's already two players there.
He's trying to set up this aftershock here. You can see aftershock in a fault line, or at least the fault line.
Well, now he is, of course.
Alongside a Hunter's Fury combo. As soon as Scuba gets his contact, both will get popped off.
Scuba! He has to stay alive here. There goes the paranoia. He's looking for at least one person stunned, but now that he's in the smoke, he can drop. There goes the Hunter's Fury. There goes the chaos. Scuba finally finds one. There's still two to go, but the Rolling Thunder should stop the plant. It will catch both of them, and now the punishment should be there. Viper, no, there you do have the snake bite in the front side, but the kills go in. The time was already done too, so you could just have the KJ stay alive. A massive round for the map for Oxygen.
That was a phenomenal call from Mitch. Comboing his fault line and his Hunter's Fury. I mean, the setup there for C was the dart gets the contact, smoke gets dropped, they're expecting some kind of hit. And so they set up here for a combination with that fault line and Hunter's Fury. That was beautiful from Oxygen. And now, investing those ultimates may look to some viewers as costly, but you've reset Turtle Troop and you're almost guaranteeing yourself 12 here, unless things go horribly awry.
Yeah, Turtle Troop have to do something crazy here to even make that possible. But there's only one here over towards B. There's really a site where they could do it. They are at the right one. But they have to back out. Just one shock dart ends up doing it.
Mitch is going to creep under this turret. They'll have Scuba break it, so I don't know if Turtle Troop are going to be ready for this kind of fast pounce. Randy is ready for a play on the flank. But I feel like you need all the manpower to hit this site, and it's just weakening the site hit a little bit more.
Mitch in a good spot, just to instantly flash out. Because the turret went down, his cubby was going to be checked no matter what.
You have a really good combination with this Viper's Pit and this Reckoning on this A site. You pop the ultimate, if you can cover in kind of the midsection, the tunnel, then the Viper's Pit can take up a lot of space, but they're actually pushing around towards defender spawn where it's just Scuba.
Scuba's fully ready for Governor's fully ready for it. How does Scuba get ready for it? How does Governor get that? Pony now holding from above, and he's able to get two massive kills. You still have Pony, still have the showstopper. He's still trying to play around, still trying to waste a little bit of time, but with the spike and spawn, time will continue to dwindle.
Flashes between both of these sides as well. Tig. No more flashpoint here for Mitch.
14.
They're gonna
12
get the
seconds.
Mitch
He got it!
As well. A huge 1v1 to give away. Inverno's now left in a 1v2 clutch with the spike down. How have they pulled this back, Turtle Troop? Oh my gosh.
How did they do that? An eBay Thrifty. At the best time for Turtle Troop, at the only time for Turtle Troop.
Keeps them alive, keeps Oxygen off of map points. And they save two ultimates between Weed and Mummy and earn a third from Tig. Life has been given back to Turtle Troop. And a huge round to pick up. But that was the backbreaker. That was the deal breaker. You lose that round. Oxygen on 12. And a chance to close it out. With 7 opportunities had that round gone Oxygen's way. Now Turtle Troop set their sights here on B. Reckoning available and the Viper's Pit to set themselves up for another round win.
Yeah, like you said, that combo for post plant is so deadly. But I mean, especially in these tight sites, especially on B, especially on A, where you're essentially jumping into a mosh pit to be able to even be able to touch the spike.
Crazy dart coming out there from Verno. Forcing a re-clear on this Trailblazer. Pony might get caught out here in a second, though. He's not careful, and not careful at all.
Oof. Such a big position for Pony. You just couldn't ever get exposed, not show a single pixel.
And Oxygen now switching up the tempos, bringing 2 players back, and Turtle Troop are abusing that fact.
It's a similar spot for Scuba.
He's going to force Turtle Troop to play now towards C. Or apologies, lack of control is forcing Oxygen to get up with that rotate.
Wait, he's rotating.
The Seekers pop off, and hook, line, and sinker. Scuba's falling for it.
And that's perfect. There's no info grab here in C. It's just going to be the free sight for them, and Scuba just might go down. He's looking to tap some heads. And indeed, he finds one on the bottom row.
30 seconds.
Man advantage still for TTR.
Full sight control. 2 different points of a retake here for Oxygen. Mitch has got his work cut out for him with Justice Spectre. It'll be hard to see him winning this fight here against Governor unless a flash comes in. Even that Reckoning's still available.
Flash white swing. There's still
players
two
stuck in
people
sight.
outside too.
A lot of post-plant util here, and yeah, it'd be weird to see Mitch win this fight.
Well,
I think
let's
they're
see.
playing
It
for
still has
exits.
5 seconds for a stun. There's 2 people already in the middle of sight. They already used the nano swarms though, just chunking time off the clock. And both 3 players down for Oxygen. Turtle Troop, they want their way back into this game.
Not playing for the exec there, or the exits. Mitch, I think, was just hoping that his teammates on site could get something done before he pounced. That resets Oxygen here, gives Turtle Troop the steering wheel here in this first map. Their map pick, mind you that. And Oxygen, with just a Guardian in the hands of Scuba. We're so close to a 12th round, but everything has fallen back to Turtle Troop. Quick, quiet default here, leaning towards A. The orb to cover up the cross. And a fake push towards B as well. So this is a lot of info denial here from Turtle Troop. Oxygen are being forced to invest players to take jiggles, to take peeks, and to ultimately lock players into their sights. And with the contest being towards B and A, Scuba started to rotate as well.
It is, however, giving Oxygen a little bit exposed
Right.
towards either C or B. They're putting a lot of attention right now over towards A, and the fact that they put up util outside of C, maybe to push them back over towards A, just hoping that that plan works out, but it just won't. You do have, however, retake ulti from the Harbor. That just won't do much.
I think we're gonna see Adder stick around on site, yeah. See if he can get any exits. Well, he's not exits, any ult point kills. Actually backs away, never mind. Turtle Troop securing here the 8th round unless Oxygen can do something explosive. They've got a full kit on Verno. Yeah,
That's
Adder
true.
is sticking around to fight here.
Okay. Tried to molly off at least one angle, but it just won't work. It should be all 5 for Turtle Troop. Just stacking up the ult points. Stacking up the first investor flawless.
Gives Adder his lockdown as I was kind of hoping he would stick around in sight. Sticking around in sight does give him that ultimate for this next round, so
Right?
the ult cycling here from Turtle Troop has been really, really solid. Reed It still has that Viper's Pit. And Oxygen, again, know the stakes, have to win this round, otherwise this goes 10 to 11. Turtle Troop been managing their economy well enough as well, where even if it does get to map point for Oxygen, they can contest with one more buy. This is aggressive from Turtle Troop, a much different look off of Mitch's fault line. And how do Turtle Troop respond? We've seen similar notions of aggression from Oxygen, a dart push from Pony
They
to
stop
get
at some
control.
point, though.
But Turtle Troop aren't afraid of it. They're expecting players to walk through this smoke. And Adder's already
Definitely.
posted up for a lockdown if he wants to drop it.
But they have incredible positions, though. These don't get revealed. It could be a massive, massive bite to Oxygen, and they found both. They found both up close. Scuba from up top, revealed. That's just the positioning. TTR can't actually punish off of it. Over towards C, there's 2 players ready for the rotation.
They force a lot of util out of Oxygen as well. The paranoia, the nade, the boombot. A lot of util just got sucked out of Oxygen off of a single Trailblazer. And I think this is a fake sell from Adder. If he wants to pop the lockdown here, it could work, but he just crosses for free. No way he crosses for free.
For
He could
free!
really group with his team and play the lockdown as well towards C if he wants.
There goes a take on to C. Is he gonna hit an alarm bot? No, he just runs right into Pony instead. Doesn't even matter. Here comes the hold though. Verno with 1. Randy Savage is right behind him. Needs at least 2. The Viper's Pit goes up, but not able to take down the man with the Viper's Pit. This is great control here for TTR. The Viper's Pit will stay up. The spray goes through, but still the 2-on-2.
Spike not down,
Viper.
Spike not down.
Spike down.
Spike not down. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The time will run out. Wait, it dropped down. No!
And the cove that was protecting the planner
Match point.
ends up breaking.
What a kill.
And that is literally a could be a map deciding gunshot. Breaking the cove and with the classic from long range, winning the round there for Oxygen. And they've called a timeout because they are so lucky to get that round.
I mean, how do you even encapsulate that? That was TTR. Again, with the map control, with the site control, but with the Viper's Pit, they can't actually fight for the back of site cleanly. That's essentially free spray from the other team. The trade could only come in if you see the tracers.
Yeah. It limits where, it opens up endless possibilities for where Oxygen could be in that defender side, in that C Hall area. And with the plant spot on this map being so basic, there's like literally 2 spots you can plant in. The corner closest to C main entry, or the weird L pillar that we've seen get spammed down like 4 or 5 times. And once you ping the spot, all you got to do is spray with a classic, a vandal, break the cove. And Oxygen just barely getting by in that round. Have no guns to work with, so Turtle Troop still have the gun advantage despite losing the last round. Still have the lockdown to play with as well. Oxygen not out of the woods just yet. If anything, them winning the last round ruined their bye even further.
TTR don't know it, that's for sure. TTR treating this like any other round. Here comes Verno. There goes the counter push coming in from Oxygen. This is good stuff from Oxygen, but TTR, again, they just have the gun advantage. No matter who pushes out, they should have the 1v1 battle.
A great response from Turtle Troop. You push instantly the players on A react, get A site control, take over this round. Last round was a big confidence kill. Just getting back on the right foot here to try and make the comeback happen. Now you're not playing for the map, you're playing just for OT here. Turtle Troop, they have stabilized in this round. Vi will be back here for Oxygen. Lockdown still available for Adder. And Mummy's not too far off his reckoning. We'll see the ultimates here in a second from Oxygen and what they've got coming up, but we're gonna probably see Verno's ultimate come online, depending how late into this, how many more rounds we have left to play. The ultimates are gonna be a big deciding factor as we move forward in this.
Remaining.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think Scuba wants to give the kill here to Mummy because it just puts him one more away from the record. He gets out of the nano.
Didn't know they had double nanos. Investor flawless, second of the game. But of course, Turtle Troop, as we head into the next rounds, you start to think about, again, not making too many individual mistakes right now. Nobody's being picked off right now. They're playing in a very safe, grouped up fashion. None of their defaults are going too deep. When is TTR going to spice things up? When is Oxygen, again, going to take up the space where they have to fight for it early on?
And they're looking for something here towards A. Both teams.
It might be A.
There's no fault line here to set up Pony and the aggression from Scuba. So
Exactly what's happening.
The dart doesn't reveal anything, and Governor just gets caught off guard here from a guiding light from Tig. Or apologies, Pony gets caught off guard.
But finally, an early take to take some map control, to fight for something. They get into a 1v1 for it.
They probably just reset here as well. They know that's going to cause a reaction, and the question is, where does that reaction come from? Adder didn't see anything towards C.
Blinded.
Guiding Light will get in for the, yeah, player has pushed up towards C. So what are they going to do with this info here? I think Adder's looking to get into a spot again where he can use this lockdown. Trailblazer reviews where the KJ's playing. And is this a fake, though? That's kind of what it feels like, because they've broken that mid-A door, which will allow them to play the rotate in towards B. We still have players here on A, and I think because that mid door's been broken, to stick around.
I mean, with the KJ util here, they know that they have an exec actually on to B, but it's just a late one. It's just a late exec. Give them some false confidence.
Randy Savage
Wonderfully
done. He's going to look to use it here on this retake. I wonder, are Turtle Troop going to fight for it?
I mean, it has to happen. They have to fight for it.
There it is.
Wonder if they're going to fight immediately for, again, the lockdown. No, they can't. It's only going to be one person on the front line. It's going to be Adder trying to pick away a player or two that comes out from the lockdown. But with a 2-man advantage, it's not looking too bad here for Turtle Troop. However, Scuba does pick one out of nowhere. We did. Does have a great angle. Could pick down one on his own. Indeed does. And does pick down Randy Savage. And Scuba is gone by his rifle too. Turtle Troop only 2 away from overtime.
Smart play. I think it's a good call. They don't fight further. They have the man advantage. 3 players from that A link. 2 players back towards B main. Love the way that this round was played. no fault line to slow down the A main peak, and that's why, apologies, not Governor. Pony gets caught off guard out towards in the middle of A main. Caught with a flash, pants down. Governor made the dash, so he gets to jump on him. And a reset here again onto Oxygen. And a chance for Turtle Troop to put them within one of pushing us to OT. Lash reveals that no one pushed forward on B. He gives a lot of space here to Oxygen.
You see the game, though, for Oxygen. Putting nothing into this round. Only one ult point away for two of their players in terms of ultimates, one of them being incredibly pivotal. This is a big map, so rotations are going to come into effect too, so that's another big ultimate.
And
They're just going for the big one.
I'm looking at the next round. So what are they going to do with those ultimates? You're going to get guaranteed Verno's ult online. Scuba's as well. So there are a lot of ult combos you can do in this map. Retake on C. Deny the plant like we saw them do in the past, which was Mitch sets up that fault line, and then Verno sends the Hunter's Fury from that A link over on B main, or over towards B, at A connector. Hunter's Fury directly towards the C main entrance. A lot of ult combination possibilities for Oxygen. And for a team that has had all 5 players playing exceptionally well, which is honestly extremely rare. It's normally either Pony, Scuba, or Verno, and it's only a combination of 2 of those players popping off. Turtle Trooper brought their A game here in the attacking side, and we're seeing finally Governor get unleashed. His full potential when he's not forced to, when he's not put under the stress and the strain of calling as well.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Him completely on his lonesome. May have just a little bit too much pressure on his shoulders. Does have Mommy next to him. Potentially for the trade. I'm unenthused though. There's no way that they take this one back. Surely not. Tig around the corner. He's gonna have a 1v1 against Scuba. Scuba takes it down though. However, Pony does get a kill in the middle of sight. Tig looking for a big spray. They do have a Molly lineup. Okay, all good. The economy doesn't matter. We're very deep into the game. Everyone dies for Oxygen, so they get the ult points they need. It's the big one to close out map 1.
4 ultimates here to work with. Oxygen with everything to play for, and Turtle Troop with everything to play for here as well. Remember, this series matters more for Turtle Troop than it does Oxygen.
Absolutely.
Oxygen, yes, the point differential comes into play, but they've made the mid-season face-off. Turtle Troop are playing for the MSF.
Win or go home.
3 ultimates. Seekers, Reckoning, and the Blade Storm. I think they're going to try and get fast and aggressive. This is crazy. Governor
absolutely
wanted to go
Here's
fast.
Governor from the skies again. Here comes the Blade Storm. Takes down Pony. Again, that's just the 1v1 with the duelist that we already saw before. But Verno takes it back to a 4-on-4. A random Hunter's Fury to the back of A main.
Ult gets the trade, which is worth it there. If you didn't get anything, that would have been an unfortunate waste of an ultimate. He gets a trade back.
Ooh.
Drone doesn't spot. Question marks all over here for Oxygen as to where the approach is. They've taken the gamble towards A. Assume that they can play the retake on B with the ultimate. Assume that with the control that Scuba established, this is an A approach. And they would be right. But it's right now just Mitch. And the thing is, his ultimate's good for a retake. His ultimate's good for stopping a push. And I think his position, he makes it really difficult to use his ultimate.
I've got your trail.
Adder is trying to be a pain in the side over towards that mid side if they can get the information. That rolling thunder, that's so huge. There's only 30 seconds left. Again, Adder, he's always been here in mid just in case the team needed to make that rotation happen. And not only that, but the Reckoning comes in for the take. 20 seconds left. It's going to be a 4-on-4.
No ultimates left in this round.
Oh no.
The Cove buys a little bit of space, but Verno catches Mummy. And Weeded, a lot of single crossfires being held. No support from anyone. The take is just absolutely nowhere.
That's a big 1v1 for Weeded. Weeded needs to stay alive. He's going to stay around the corner. Has a couple of pixels to aim at. Here we go. Randy Savage around the corner. Weeded with a double. Adder around the corner doing the same. Now Verno in a 1v3. Able to get 2. Looking for the ace. 70 HP remaining. Needs to take down Tig. The time. There's enough time. But Tig takes him down instead. Turtle Troop stay alive, and we have overtime.
And how have they
Switching
done
sides.
that, Turtle Troop?
Overtime.
There was a point in time where we were 1 round away from 12. 11 to 5 was the score. 7 rounds won back here on their map pick of Lotus. Turtle Troop put their destiny on the line. Fate is in their hands. And this series again decides if they make it to the mid-season face-off. And they're not done here in map 1. Governors come through over and over on that attacking side. 23 and 18. We've seen them come alive on the attack. We've seen Oxygen have a blissful performance in the attack as well. I think this overtime comes down to who wins their defensive round. And there's been no response from Turtle Troop to winning these post plans, to stopping these post plan situations. And we'll see what response they have here. Oxygen, quick to the jump, are going to take A control and this A door control.
You get stopped by a single nano swarm. With that, B is actually taken up by two players now.
They know it's not going to be a hit. They just checked with the Trailblazers that no one was towards B main, but
And
I
they
think
have
the
a turret.
spot from Randy Savage is actually going to keep these players. Yeah, because Randy Savage was towards C. They know a B hit could come through, and Adder wanted info.
They're through. Tig can't do anything other than spray through the wall. No way he bursts through. Nah. You just can't. Turtle Troop. They're at the man disadvantage going into this retake in Oxygen. They're not letting go of sight whatsoever.
Oh,
there goes the fake flash, though. That's a Tig special. Pony around the corner.
gosh.
Destroyed by Tig. This was a man disadvantage, but now it's a two-man advantage. 2 players remaining. Scuba and Verno.
Player standing.
Isolated. Governor gets another one. Scuba in the deep. He just might drown.
Sink or float, he sinks to the bottom. And Turtle Troop have put themselves
Switching
on map
sides.
point here,
Match
on their
point.
map pick of Lotus. And Oxygen, so many opportunities to close out this map. A chance to get onto 12, missed in an anti-eco round. A chance to close it out, but it was Turtle Troop that found every ounce in them to win the 4 rounds in a row to push us to OT.
Gosh, yesterday, going into the beginning of yesterday, Oxygen needed to win this game. We said it before, and it might just be true. They may have dodged a bullet by not needing to face this Turtle Troop, because Turtle Troop, 8 out of the last 9 rounds going their way, and they absolutely needed every single one of them to stay in this game. This is such a dangerous Turtle Troop, and it just keeps getting more dangerous. Governor, his kill total is just at about 12, 13 at half. We're now looking at 26, almost a 30 bomb by the end of the game. Where's the pop-off for Oxygen? We mentioned Randy before. I mentioned him like in the first half when he had like 8 kills. Now we check back with him. He's at 9. Such a pivotal position, though. He's on the defense, and Oxygen posts up again. What is this play over towards A? It's 4 players.
It's going to be a dart, nade, fault line, smoke to try and get A control. But how quick is their response to rotate off?
Such heavy util over towards C2.
No. They're silent. They're trying to bait a response, and they're just trying to punish
jump
Rita
peek.
here.
The jump peek spotted 2. They're going to pop, though. Waiting for it. There's 4 players in their spawn. The element of surprise doesn't work. Weeded around the corner, going to be able to get one, and the Molly gets yet another one. It's a massacre.
That's a win. A huge win for Turtle Troop as Weeded finds 3. That could be the round. There's nobody left on the C site. Swarms will only buy time for the rotate, but you're out of man disadvantage. And I hate to say it, it's statistically 2 of the worst players in Oxygen. Randy Savage sitting at 9 kills. Mitch has had a great game. They both had great first halves. But where are they now? Here they are in a 2-on-3 retake to keep this map alive. And Adder's there to greet them with a turret and himself.
3rd most kills in North American Valorant history under the belt of Randy Savage. Mitch, a tenure in Tier 1, looking to make it back to that level. Here we go. 3 players in the middle of site. There's going to be 1 right behind the spike, 1 over towards ramp, but 1 with the cross. Governor is the one, and Mame has the double time. 14-12. TTR scratch and claw their way to a map 2.
Seriously doing, in my opinion, the unthinkable. From 11-5 down on an anti-eco round, by the way, on their eco round, right? Oxygen had everything going for them to push them onto map point. They had 4 chances when they got to 12. Where Turtle Troop, like you said, claw their way back and somehow win map number 1 here.
It's just impossible to think about on that defensive side. Turtle Troop, I just didn't think they had it. I just didn't think they had that power, and indeed they did it. In the first half, almost every single round where Oxygen had an opportunity for a plant, they got it 90% of the time. But in that second half, how does Turtle Troop do it?
And I think it's a big mixture of attacking side comfortability, players like Governor coming back to the forefront as we want from him. Again, he's a guy that under Tig's IGL leadership, without the stress of being the IGL, he gets unleashed. And Governor, and that second half, a key figure and a key player for that comeback here for the side of Turtle Troop.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So there you go. The aspects are finally combining for this team a little bit. And Oxygen, again, they're not fighting for anything other than circuit points right now. They could just be some pals real quick and just let Turtle Troop into playoffs with them. But it's come down all the way down to the wire for a reason. Oxygen is fighting for those circuit points, those all-important circuit points for the end of the split. And they're going to have to continue to fight in the second map, as we'll be right back after the break.
I think everybody, like we're that kind of team where it's like we just go in and just go for the trade immediately. Like nobody really hard baits or anything like that. Never had an issue with trading here, so I just pick anybody on our roster.
One person I can trust to trade me always would definitely be Jonah 6. I think he's never afraid to either go in or be like the second fragger in, and he's definitely someone I can rely on.
The one player on my team that can always trade is me, because I usually play that role. I'm like the flex player, and I'm second in behind Zeldris usually. And I always tell Zeldris, yo, just go in with my flash or something, I'll trade you. So definitely me.
I would always trust Trent to trade me, just because I think Trent is just, I don't know, Trent's just insane, you know what I mean? Like, I'll literally do anything to like set my team up.
You kind of have to pay some respect to this.
Indeed they do. They're going to have to try to press into Flowers, but now Trent's there for support. So now they have to try to start backing up. Now they do get the kill, though. Trent able to get the Hunter's Fury in play.
Probably Corey. I feel like he's always going in first, and if he's not going first, he's always going in second. So it's like he's gotten really good at like just trading or just getting his entries. It helps a lot.
Corey will get the trade and probably get one more. So it's like, I'll just die and Corey's gonna get 2. So I get mine, pretty much. Yeah, Corey's definitely a good trader. He doesn't miss.
Alongside the Stinger. Here we go. EU around the corner on the outside of the smoke. Wow. Corey!
Trent. I think somehow Trent will always find like the craziest way to trade. Whether it's like a spray transfer, like a flick one tap, like he just like somehow pulls the trade out of a hat and like gets it every time. It's crazy.
I mean, honestly, everyone, but especially Trent, because he's just like mechanically insane. So if he's baiting me, I know he's gonna get the kill. Can always trust Trent to get his kill, even if I have to sacrifice myself. He'll always win his fights, and people know that. So when they see Trent's alive, they're just naturally intimidated and scared.
And how about the crossfire from the guard?
I think Jonah's good at trading, and just he has like good comms, so he's like always with you. He'll be like, yeah, I'm with you, or like peek this, and then I'll peek, and then he'll be right behind me. So I feel like Jonah.